Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Power Vacuum. I'm your host, Belmont, and it must be that time of the week that ends in day because I'm back with another Pokemon Pocket Pair, Power World, Patent, something else that begins with a P. Problem. It we have a new development here. I've got this story from Windows Central, and it says PALWORLD developers at Pocket Pair showed off gliding 6 months prior to Nintendo's original patent application. Early footage of PALWORLD further supports Pocket Pair's defense against Nintendo's legal action. Last week, Pocket Pair creators of PALWORLD made a statement officially confirming that gliding with PALs has been or was being removed. It's already has been, it's in the past, it's already removed from the game as a direct result of the Nintendo lawsuit over patent infringement currently taking place in Japan. This change would be implemented with patch version 0.5.5. Which, by the way, for anyone curious, modders have already gone in and added a mod that returned all of the stuff that was most recently removed if you're interested. While we already know that Pocket Pair isn't the first or the last to implement this mechanic, and we've reported before now Nintendo has submitted patent applications post release of Power World, nevertheless, I wanted to share this brilliant report from our friends at Game Fray, who detail the exact timeline of when Power World first revealed this mechanic in game, and it's even earlier than I thought, a whole 6 months prior to Nintendo submitting its application for the patent. I did see this from Game Fray. It's like a week old. This article is only a couple days old, but this was a very technical breakdown and had a lot of stuff that wasn't really conclusive to presenting it in a news way. It was more of a technical explanation, and I didn't feel like really diving into it that well. But Game Fray, they do really good technical breakdowns of things if you want to check out their channel. The Game Fray report shows that an indie level expo in June 2021, Pocket Pair showed off a preview of Power World. In the clip, we see riding and flying on PALs, indicating that Pocket Pair developed the mechanics independently prior to the Nintendo patent application in December of 2021 for patent number 7528390. The patent in question, which refers to the dynamic switching of riding objects in a game, was granted to Nintendo despite them only filing for it in 2024 after Power World's release. This is unfortunately perfectly legal as Nintendo can relate its 2024 claim back to the parent patent from 2021. However, this video proves that Pocket Pair showed off the mechanic even before the parent patent date. Yeah, so patents are weird. When you file a patent, it could take up to a decade to get approved, but once it's approved, and some of them can be fast tracked and get approved faster. But once it's approved, you can, I think it tracks back to the filing date, which is what they call the parent patent, I guess, in some places. I think in the US they call it the filing date. When was the patent filed for? And it goes all the way back to that date because they understand that getting a patent is a long and arduous process sometimes, unless you have tons and tons of money. It remains to be seen. The video also doesn't invalidate Nintendo's patent as it doesn't really display the exact technical details that's described by Nintendo, but it does suggest that Nintendo's version of the mechanic isn't as innovative as they would like you to believe, as any developer can figure out how to implement it. Yeah, games have been letting you ride on mounts for a long time. And for Nintendo to try to claim that that's unique to Nintendo, I guess their patent describes a specific method for it, but you're splitting hairs at that point. Nintendo's patent claim relies on a 2021 application and older filing that date back to December 22nd, 2021. That's the earliest date Nintendo can use in court. The June 2021 Power World video predates this, making it valid prior art. It certainly weakens Nintendo's case in combination with Pocket Pair's defense, using examples of other games with the same mechanics, such as Zelda and Ark Survival Evolved. Zelda probably isn't a good example to use since the lawsuit filing is a joint filing by Pokemon and Nintendo, and Zelda is a Nintendo property. And Arc was Arc doing that before Zelda? There, I think they might be referring to Breath of the Wild Zelda, and not like, say, Ocarina of Time, which is just basic horse riding mechanics, which have been around long before Ocarina of Time. The challenges in the Japan suit haven't stopped Nintendo from applying for the same patents in the US, signifying its intent to also bring the case to US soil. I don't think that will hold water here, because all you really need is pretty much one example that defies that patent, and they pretty much have no choice but to go, yeah, you weren't the first to the, shoreline, so you don't get to claim the land. If Balworld is successful, can they bring back the mechanics they have removed? For now, Pocket Pair is playing it safe, modifying key features to avoid risk, despite showcasing these mechanics long before Nintendo's 2024 claim. One significant change came with patch 0311, which removed the ability to throw a PAL to a chosen position as a direct response to the lawsuit. This caused temporary spawning issues, frustrating players who blame Nintendo for the disruption. Similarly, the gliding update is, in Pocket Pair's words, yet another compromise. If Pocket Pair successfully defends its case, it's possible these changes could be reversed, though the timeline for revolving, it is a revolving issue, but resolving the dispute remains uncertain. In the meantime, these adjustments divert resources and extend development time, impacting other projects, like the anticipated Tides of Terraria update set to release this summer. And there you have it. Thanks to Game Fray, or Games Fray, should say that properly, they have proven that the gliding mechanic, that is one of the things in question in the lawsuit, existed before the original filing of the patent, which is going to be very beneficial for Power World, and hopefully can stop this absolutely ridiculous clown show kangaroo court version of a lawsuit, because the fact that they're letting Nintendo even entertain the idea of retroactively implementing patents is offensive to every game developer, every television, any form of entertainment, you can name it. If somebody can retroactively fit a patent and claim, damages, it's going to destroy the industry. It'll just absolutely destroy the industry. There will be no more original ideas. We will stagnate, and games will become slop, more slop than they already are becoming. You need to be able to beg, borrow, and steal from other people without it being completely blatant and outright manufacture copying. It cannot be a carbon copy, but mechanics have always been borrowed. Pokemon borrows mechanics. They are not original. The only thing original about Pokemon was that the trading aspect, which was originally designed to make use of the Game Boy trade or connection cable, which I've talked about and a lot of people know. It saved the Game Boy, and that's why Nintendo loves Pokemon. But Pokemon's been stagnant for a decade. They waited way too long to move to the next gen. They were making the same crap for 20 years, and now that they're falling behind, they're trying to capitalize on other people's advances. And it's absolute bullshit, at least in my opinion. But that's all I have for this report. This is your host, Belmont, signing out.